Today on the grid, it's 10 things photographers should start doing in 2023. Erik, the can of ham, he's Jimmy Jam, the only real rocket man, is in the house. By the way, for you old folks, that means he's here today. And we've got some cool giveaways. It's going to be a fun day on the grid, and it all starts in just 23.2 seconds. Let's go!
The Grid is brought to you by Platypod, the tripod alternative that is changing the world. Everybody has a Platypod. You should too. Go to platypod.com.
There we are.
Hey, look, Erik's here. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome.
In the house.
Welcome to, he's in the house. Erik is in the house today.
Yes.
Welcome, everyone, to another live episode of The Grid. This is obviously not taped, or we do a better job. So, welcome, everybody.
That's a stamp of approval. You can always guess.
Yep. How you doing, Mr. K?
Doing good. How about you?
I am well. I'm back from Chicago, where the temperature was glorious. So we're based in the Tampa Bay area, which just means sweltering heat every day. But this last week in Chicago, I was there for the ClickCon conference. I was doing the keynote on all on Adobe's generative fill and the AI features of Photoshop. But it was great. We had a blast. Met lots of great people. Saw lots of friends. Saw Vanelli.
Yeah.
Saw Vanelli. Hey, Vanelli.
How about Paul? You see Paul?
I saw Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Hey, Paul. Hung out with Paul the whole time and had a really nice time. Just had a great time. They have a really neat conference up there, and everybody was very nice and gracious, and it was just a lot of fun. I had a great time. So
awesome.
Shout out to Adobe, who sponsored me to be there. So,
and you'll be at another conference next month, right?
I will be at the Build conference, the BILD conference. So this is B&H is in coinciding with their, what is it, their 60th anniversary? 50th anniversary. They are also holding a big show in New York. It's a trade show, and there's lots of training and tracks, and it's kind of moving into that slot where Photo Plus Expo used to be, right? There was always like a fall show in New York at the Javits. This year, woohoo, there is again. And so I'm going to be speaking there along with, just everybody. They got a huge instructor list, just huge. So that's coming up September 6th and 7th, and I will be up there speaking on the 7th. So that is awesome. I'm very excited about it. Look, there's Jerry Johannes and
very cool.
Brooke Shields.
Speaking of conferences, though, we just came off of last week. We didn't have a show because we had a awesome conference on one, right?
We did have an awesome conference on one. Yeah. We got a better than expected turnout. We had a great turnout. And people loved it.
Yeah, like they got a lot out of it.
They really did. And
at least for what we're hearing back from people.
We got such nice emails and stuff from people that are like,
the number one conference for we've got so much. This is the most feedback we've got. We usually get great feedback, but we got a lot off of this one.
Yeah, and I think it was because it was very unique. I've never seen an entire conference dedicated to plugins, right? A particular type of plugins. And so, I think people were really digging it.
It's great when you look and you dive in and you see how these plugins, especially the ones I know you and I use, they speed up our workflow so much off of what we used to do by just going into, say, effects and applying an effect that you used to take a long time to do in Photoshop, or noise removal when I used to have to spend hours shooting a bunch of shots and stacking them together. Just don't have to do that anymore.
Yep, and it was mine, Erik's workshop in New York City that got me using the noise and the tack sharp. And anyway, it was really great. So thanks to everyone who attended. It was wonderful. Also coming up next is Photoshop World Conference. Coming
Photoshop
up, Photoshop World is next month as well. So if you want to sign up, you can go to photoshopworld.com.
Yeah, I'm very excited about this lineup. I mean, there is just a all-star lineup of those Photoshop wizards, the people that are really kind of a lot of them just paving the path on these new things, these new tools that we have inside of Photoshop. So
we got a lot of instructors.
Yeah. So I'm really
there's Joe McNally. You got Moose. You got like the photo, Rick Salmon. You've got the Rick
Alaya.
Yeah, you've got the Photoshop World main teams.
Yeah.
Hey, and right there in that top row, there's Richard Burnaby. I was the guest on Richard's podcast this week. this last week. Oh, it was great. He's
Yeah.
really good. I mean, he's a phenomenal photographer, but he's a
Yeah,
very good interviewer. And
that's awesome.
we had a wonderful chat, and we covered so many topics. And I've gotten a lot of nice notes from people who watched it and comments online. So if you get a chance, if you go to my Facebook page, you'll see, or my Twitter, you'll see me, kind of retweeting it. You can go directly to the link. But that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
What else is going on? I'm doing my first one-day in-person seminar since 2019. It is coming up in Orlando, Florida at the Orange County Convention Center. I'm doing my Ultimate Photography Crash Course. It's coming up on the 15th of this
15th,
month.
Just
a couple weeks.
Less than 2 weeks as of the other day.
Yes, less than 2 weeks. So
signups are going great for that too. A
They're
lot of
going-
people
oh,
interested
yeah.
in this. I think that what I love about this seminar is that, well, one, you had to totally redesign it just 5 years ago to today. It's like totally different, right, than what we first set out to do. But the conference does the seminar does the same thing you set out to do at the beginning, and that is, if you had one day with somebody, how would you take them from knowing very little or kind of like they kind of don't have a grasp on it and becoming a master by the end of the day? Of if you had just one day with them to get them up to speed with photography, this is what you would teach them.
Yeah, well, a lot of people get to a plateau where they get stuck, right?
Yeah.
Like they get their camera and they start using it, and they literally just hit a wall. And so if I had one day, what can I do to get you through that wall to where the very next day you're getting better images? Like the very next day, like you now see things differently and you think differently and you edit differently, because I added a whole thing on, because the original day had Photoshop and Lightroom scattered through it, but now we've got dedicated time just on Photoshop and Lightroom because so much has changed.
Well, and you could, in that hour, you're able to teach somebody now with the tools we have today, something that used to take like
forever,
a week to teach that whole process.
Yeah, it really has gotten easier. Lightroom and Photoshop have gotten immeasurably easier in the last couple of years. So anyway, I'm going to be covering all that. Now, I'd love you to come in Orlando. We have a limited number of seats left. I think we have less than 100 seats left in the theater.
Yeah, I think it's 84 tickets right now.
Yeah, so if you want to come in person, there's only 84 tickets left, but come and get one of those last seats. If you cannot come to Orlando, then stay where you are because you can watch it online. You can watch it live as I do it from Orlando. We've got an intimate theater there, a very nice, beautiful theater in Orlando at the Orange County Convention Center. And we would love to have you either in person or online, either one.
What's great, even if you couldn't even make it that day, or if you can make it that day, you're going to get the recording of the entire conference for a year.
And this,
so that entire
this
day
is the first time we've ever done that, where if you attend in person, you get the whole conference archived for a year. It's the first time we've ever done that. So it's $99, which is cheap.
Yeah, but I think that's what's great is even if you can't go, and even because just sometimes you just like something might get in the way, and then even if you're there in person, had to take a call or something, you're still going to have that recording.
All this is true. All right. All that being said, today our topic is 10 things that photographers should start doing in 2023. And Erik and I have put together a list, like if we were going to hang out with somebody and say, you got 6 months left in 2023, kind of. How are you going to make the most of it? Like, how are you going to end this year and really feel like you've advanced in your photography, you made a difference? What can you do? Well, we've got 10 things that we're going to talk about here today.
I'm excited for that because, I mean, it was funny because we did 5 things kind of independent of one another.
Yep.
And they're really awesome. I mean, I can't believe it came together so as well as it did.
You know why? Because they're honestly, the topics are really easy.
They're easy, but they're the hard ones. They're the easy ones that people don't do.
Right. These are the things that a lot of people just skip.
And they focus on these things. I'll tell you one thing that's not going to be on the list. I can't go going through it.
Buy gear.
Won't be gear. It won't be.
Won't be buy gear.
One.
There's no.
Not one.
I wouldn't tell somebody you need to buy this lens. You need to buy this camera body. You need to buy whatever. So let's just go ahead. We'll start with number one right here.
All right. Number one on the screen.
Number one on my screen. That's number one on my screen. It's got a big 1.
It's highly technical. I think what this means probably is they don't have your screen, or they didn't have your screen, or something happened.
I see
with your
some
screen,
scramblization.
and there is a screen. Now you could do You could start up that wireless thing if you wanted to. That.
Well, yeah,
we could Apogee on there.
Yeah, don't have screen. It says on the screen.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm going to work on that.
We should talk about all the giveaways that we're going to give.
Do
today.
the prizes.
We'll get right there to the number one thing you should do in 2023. But until then, you can win some gifts in 2023. Here is prizes on the grid. So we're giving away Platypod goosenecks. So we've got the goosenecks where you can attach lights and different objects to your platypod.
You know what those are?
For, what are they? They're Lucy and
they're goosey. They're Lucy and Goosey.
There we go. So we can attach those to our platypod. Great gift. And then we're also going to give away a copy of Adobe Photoshop for Digital Photographers by a guy named Scott Kelby right over here.
That's me.
Yep. And then we're giving away another one of his books, his How Do I Do That in Photoshop book.
Brand new one. That's new.
Right? Brand new. And we're going to also be giving away a copy of On One No Noise 2023. Great plugin for removing noise and now adding sharpening. So there you go. And then one V-Flat from V-Flat World. We're going to give away one of those to U.S. shipping only. So just make sure you're in the U.S. If you want to win that. Use code Kelby10 at checkout, and everybody can get 10% off anything at V-Flat World. Then Retouch for Me is giving away the Portrait Volumes app. You get 20% off though over at Retouch for Me, but you have to go to a specific website. It's www.promo.retouch4.me, and then enter that code Kelby120. So that's KELBYONE 20. So there you go.
All right, we do have the screen now, so we can at least get into number one before we take our first break. So our first break my first one of the 10, not my first break. My first one would be to create a portfolio. I think every photographer needs to do this, even if you never show your portfolio to anyone, even if you're the only person that sees it. And the reason why I think it's so important is, number one, I talk to so many photographers, and I'll ask them, I'd like to see your work. What do you got? And they're like, well, let me get my phone. And do you have a portfolio I can look at? Do you have a website? No. And I'm like, you spent how much on your gear? You spend how much time? You fly around the world. You do all these things, and your images, your best images, they're just somewhere on your computer. So first off, this is a really great exercise for photographers. Because when you have to put together a portfolio, and let's say that you shoot two things. Let's say you shoot people and landscapes. Well, it causes you to... These tally lights are driving me crazy. Sorry, a tally light, for those of you watching at home, is a light that comes on and tells you to look which camera to look at. But
he's technically not looking at the right camera anymore.
They're jumping from thing to thing. Like, I don't know what's going on with these things. Anyway, but I'm looking over there. I don't know if it's the right one. Oh,
no, it's not. Wow. Just look somewhere out there.
Okay. Anyway, so when you have to sit down and go through the process of, I need to pick 24 photos that are my best people shots and 24 landscape. Number one, it's just a good exercise. Here's what it will tell you. It will tell you where you are as a photographer at this stage in your career. And one of three things is going to happen. You're going to put 24 together and you're going to go, dang, I'm better than I thought, right? You're going to put your photos together. It could be really like, wow, I'm really, when I look at just my best photos, which is what every serious photographer shows. You don't show your worst photos. You just show your best ones. You might be surprised at how well you're doing, which is inspiring and can help move you. Number two is you might find out, okay, I need a little work to do. I need some stuff to do. I'm not really thrilled with what I see here. I could do better.
Yeah.
Or number three is you might go, holy cow, I got a lot of work to do. But no matter what it is, no matter what the answer is, you have an answer.
But then you got something to go.
You now know towards. I need to work harder. I need to change this. Why aren't my images look like? What do I need to do to progress? So it's very good. Now, also, once you have this done, then you also you have something you can share with other people. You can share with friends and family. And let me tell you, when you have an actual online portfolio, it will change people's perception of your seriousness as a photographer.
And
Because a serious photographer would have a portfolio.
And you know what's great about this? We're talking about this on the grid. There is a way for you to get your portfolio. Most of us have Photoshop or Lightroom, right?
Yes.
And we're subscribed to Photoshop and Lightroom.
Yes.
We have the ability to have a free portfolio from your photography plan that you can hook up to your own domain and have your own name on, and you could have it up tonight. And in fact, you have a class on Kelby 1 just on how to do that, just on how to get your portfolio up on.
I do that. That was my whole next thing.
I know.
Kind of stole
That's
that.
Well, it's because it's
just
too
gonna-
great.
I was just
Too
gonna
great.
say all what he just.
So what I said.
That's what he just said.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
Yep.
Go to portfolio.adobe.com. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Go to myportfolio.com. Myportfolio.com. It's included in your Adobe subscription. There's templates. You choose a template. You'll have it up tonight. And if you're concerned, go watch my class on Kelby 1. I take you through the entire process from beginning to end. And you will have a professional-looking, slick portfolio up tonight. It's all kind of done for you. It's just waiting for you to put up your stuff. Okay.
And they walk you through all of it. Like if you
Yeah.
if you want to connect your own domain, super simple.
Yeah. So that is number one of the 10 things that you can do this year that will help you as a photographer. And it's going to help you in numerous ways. People's perception of you, knowing where you are as a photographer. And by the way, when you're done, you'll know whether to share it with other people or not. If you're like, oh man, I got a lot of work to do, you may be the only one that ever sees it, but it's still worth the exercise. It'll still let you know where you are. So you have something you can share. It doesn't cost you any money. It's going to give you a baseline of where you are as a photographer. There's so many good things. It may find you work. It may help you sell your work. There's all kinds of benefits to having a portfolio. And that's number one.
Yep.
Now, oh, look at that comment from Rick there.
Yeah, Rick's saying portfolio class is so amazing. It made getting my portfolio set up so easy and straightforward.
Thank you, Rick. There you go. Unsolicited testimony from Rick Greeley. All right. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we've got 9 more for you today. Things to consider for the next, however, to get us to the end of the year. You can make the end of this year really, really good. You can really move yourself forward. Stick around. We'll be right back here on The Grid.
All right, on Tuesday, August 15th at the Orange County Convention Center in Orlando, I've got a one-day seminar that is going to knock your socks off. I'm telling you, I put together an incredible day for you, and it's all the latest stuff. If I had one day with a friend, like if a friend was coming over to spend the day with me, and they said, look, I've only got one day here, but I really want to jump to that next level in my photography and my post-processing. I got to get better at Lightroom. I got to get better at Photoshop. I got to start using Photoshop, and I've got to know why and when and all that stuff. Can you help me? Yes, I can. We have an intimate theater in Orlando. I want you to be there. So come join me at the Orange County Convention Center for a full day of learning and laughing and loving and everything that begins with the letter L. It's all coming on Tuesday, August 15th. Come and spend the day with me. Go to kelby1live.com for all the details to get your tickets, and I'll see you in Orlando in just a few weeks.
Hi, I'm Amanda Lusan, your posing coach. Come join me in my latest Ultimate Posing Guide. In this class, you'll be able to learn everything about posing, like pose your feet, your legs, your arms and hands, pose your whole body from head to toe. And also understand and learn how to facial expression and body expression. You learn how to pose with props. On the chair, sitting on the floor, lying on the floor. Can you imagine? And you will learn the foundation and advanced pose as well. Are you ready for this? So join me in my latest class on kelby1.com.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by B&H Photo, the professional source since 1973.
Well, hey, everybody, we are back. Scott and Erik here, and we're talking about 10 things photographers should do in 2023. But you know, one of the things that photographers should do, they should learn a Lightroom tip today.
Nice.
You like that segue? Just beautiful segue. All right, so here we are. This particular feature I'm going to show you is a little used feature. I think a lot of people don't even know it exists, but it is incredibly helpful when you have a bunch of photos like you see here that are they look very similar. Same outfit, same lighting, same subject, very, very close. And like, it's tough. How do you pick the best one? Like, how do you pick the best one of these photos that are very similar? I can tell you something that is true. It is very hard to find the best one, to just go look at these images, go, this one's the best. So you're going to use a Lightroom feature to help you find the best one. Select all and press the letter N. What that does, I'm going to press Shift Tab to hide the rest, puts all the photos on screen arranged like this. And here's the secret of how this works. By the way, the mode that you're seeing is called survey mode or survey view. All right. And you're pressing the letter N as in Nancy. N for survey. It makes perfect sense. Anyway, it's very hard, like I said, to pick the best one. It's much easier to pick the one you like the least. So you pick the one you're going to do the process of elimination, and you're going to keep getting rid of ones that you don't like. Now, so what you do is you move your cursor over one you don't like. Like, I'm not crazy about this one right here. Do you notice that when I move my cursor over it, a small X appeared in the bottom right corner? So you just click on that, and here's what it does. It just removes it from screen. It doesn't take it out of Lightroom. It doesn't take it out of your collection. It doesn't do anything actually in Lightroom except for move it off the screen. All right, let's move on and see what else we don't like. I'm not crazy about this one, so I'm going to take that one off. Just click on the X, and then it just moves everything around. Let's see which else. I'm not wild about this one either. So let's get rid of that one next. And I'm not crazy about this one. It's not bad, really, but that would go next. I'm not jazzed on this one. And also, do you notice it rewards you? It keeps making the pictures bigger and bigger as you go, which is helpful. I like these three. I'm gonna pitch this one. And now you're down to like the last two. Oh boy, these two are very close. Let's get rid of this one. All right, we're down to these two. It's one of these two. I'm going to have to go with the one on the right because I cut off her fingers down here. And so whatever's left, you've looked at everything and you keep cutting it down and cutting it down and cutting it down, and this would be your favorite one. Now, you're watching at home and you might be going, no, not that one. I like the other one, which is, that's part of the process is everybody's got their own idea. Now, once you get down to that one and this is the one, you can either press the letter 5 to give it a 5-star rating or whatever it is that you want to do to mark it so that when you look back at your images, you'll know which one. But that is my Lightroom tip, using survey mode to get you down to the best photo when you have a number of photos that look the same.
Great. Awesome.
All right, so let's get back to where we were. We're doing the 10 things.
The photographers start doing.
Yep, and this is a really good one.
Is join a local photo group. You really want to get connected with your local community, with other people, like-minded people that are going to go out and do stuff, like in your local community, because the best way to improve your photography is to practice, is to go out there and practice multiple things, doing different genres. Don't just do one thing, because over time, as you learn, you're going to learn things from wedding photography that you can apply to aviation photography and stuff from landscape photography that you can apply to wildlife photography. It's going to be that. So if you're plugged in with a local photo group, it really helps to not only get out there and challenge you, but then just another group of people that can help you through this photography journey that you're on.
Yeah, photography is more fun with somebody
It
else.
is. It's more fun.
Eric and I
definitely
like
is.
to go out shooting a lot, and Eric seems to attract people wherever he goes. So even if he goes out by himself, people just kind of show up where he's at. But it is a lot of fun, and you also can share ideas when you're out there. You're like, oh, did you see that, or have you tried this, or it's just and a lot of photography, like you're doing long exposures or something. You're just kind of standing there.
Yeah, you're waiting.
You're just kind of waiting. It's
Or
fun.
you're waiting for the light to change. That's another thing. When I'm doing landscape photography, a lot of times we're waiting for the light to change.
Yep.
So you're just out there. You know it's going to be about 10, 15 minutes away.
Yeah.
And then you just start talking.
And you know what? Here's some topics: politics, religion, gun control. Any of those, I think, is great.
I say
icebreaker.
stick to photography topics. Stuff
Yes.
about your camera.
Yes.
All that
Yes.
good stuff.
Not that other
You
stuff.
can get in very heated arguments with people that you just met in a local photo group about the camera brand that you shoot with.
Sure.
It's definitely a good topic to
Yeah,
bring
make
up.
fun of their camera brand. That works.
That's a good icebreaker. I've actually had people try to do that as an icebreaker. It's not the best.
Not-
Of course,
not
I
good.
turn around and say, I could care less about what camera you give me. I'll shoot with yours
Yeah, I'll
if you want
shoot
to
with
trade.
whatever. You know what? All the cameras are good today.
Yep.
All the cameras are good. If you get a
Yep.
Canon, if you get a Nikon, you get a Sony, an Olympus, or System System M. Whatever the new name for Olympus is, Fuji, Canon, Sony, they all make great cameras. They all take great pictures. If I had to switch brands tomorrow, I wouldn't be crushed. I'd be like, okay, I'm still going to have a great
I really
camera.
love that mirrorless camera that Apple makes myself.
Oh, they make a very nice. Apple's mirrorless camera is
It's
fantastic.
It's phenomenal. It's amazing what it does in camera. too.
Small, lightweight,
Yeah.
connected to the internet,
But
has all kinds
it's
of
a
features.
great thing, even with that local photo group, just plug in with a local community. If you can't get a local community and you're a Kelby One member, we have a whole community
We have a
section,
great online
which is great
community.
for just helping you. And a lot of times, what's great in there is I've noticed people join up because of their location. So then they'll meet up, and there's a lot of people that meet up. I just went out on a trip and met up with a couple people just because I posted about the trip, and they were like, "Hey, I'm going to be there too."
Yep. Also, if you go to Portugal,
You definitely go to
meet
Portugal.
up with Chiquinando.
Yeah, Chiquinando will take care of you.
I got number 3. So number 3 in our list is organize your backups. So I was talking to people. I was at this ClickCon event and all, and I'm talking to people, and it was funny how they're sharing their stories of, I've got these multiple drives, and I have and
I'm
you
not
can
really
tell
sure.
they're
They're
concerned.
just concerned. Yeah.
They're concerned. They're worried. Do I have everything backed up? So what I would say is, if you could take some time to organize your backups to where for example, you're really backed up. Now, I have multiple backups. I've got now a RAID that backs up to an external drive. I have another drive here. That's my drive. I've got a cloud backup. Probably have more than I should. But anyway,
I have the same.
getting your
I have the
backups
same, so-
organized.
We're just over backup then.
Pardon me.
But yeah,
organizing your
definitely.
backups makes a huge difference. You're going to sleep better at night. You're going to know you're supposed to protect it. I'm telling you, this is an easy thing to do. We've got classes on it on Kelby One. I've got organization classes. I'm telling you.
Well, I just saw a comment actually about that, talking about, I forget, or Kevin was talking about how one thing that made me a better photographer this year was following Scott's How to Back Up and Organize Your Travel Photos. So there you go. Just came back from Oshkosh Air Show and organized my photographs. Organizing his photographs with a breeze this year.
I love
Because
to hear that.
He's using the system, right? Because if you use a system and you back it up and you consistently use that same system, it's very easy. I know we use the same system to back up. It is the system you taught. And it's so easy because I meet photographers who have this. I don't want you to have anxiety over your photos. Just make it easy. You store it in these folder structure. You store it this way.
Yep.
And you never have to worry about, are my things backed up? And then a lot of times what we're doing is, like with Backblaze, we're having it just monitor that folder. When it throws new images go in the folder,
go
it
up
just
to Backblaze.
automatically goes up. I never
Yep.
have to worry about it. That's what you want.
All right, number 4.
Okay, this one's big. Plan your photo shoots. I know there's so many of you that like to you love to just go out and I'm just going like I'm going to just go make photos. I'm
going to wing it.
And that's good. I mean, I have no problem with that. But if you have a bar to shoot for, if you have something to actually planning out what your frame is going to look like, your photos will get better. I promise you. Especially what's going to happen is you're going to start thinking, well, what's my subject? What's my subject? Because a lot of people, though, what I see them do is they're walking around trying to find an interesting subject. I find that photographers, they're spending a lot of time, and I go to show up to a location and I've got a pin already set and I'm walking and I can see them. They're looking and they're looking and they're looking. And then what happens, and this happens a lot, especially at national parks with where there's like, there's certain parks that, you know, they just have like this view and that's the view. Well, I know what spot that's at. I'm ready to go. They're looking and they're looking to plan out that. And then by the time they get to the same spot I'm at, because I've already shot, I'm packing up and leaving because the lights changed. And they don't get the shot because they were looking for the shot because they didn't plan.
Yeah.
And I find that over and over again. It's the same with like model shoots. If you don't have the right model, the right dress, the right location, you could have all those things, but you got to put it together. So planning your photo shoots, putting some effort into, I'm going to make a shot. Like, do that this year. Plan. I don't care what it is. Like, if it's a model shoot, hire the model, get the dress. Get in the right location, get the plan, do it. Like that will make your photography better.
One thing I noticed, this happens a lot in street photography. Mm-hmm. So, you know, like people will just go out and they go, okay, I'm going to do street photography today. And they show up in a location and they walk around. Mm-hmm. You know what their plan is? Hope I get lucky. That's your photography plan. Your plan is, I'm going to go out and see if I get lucky. Maybe I get something, maybe I don't. What are your chances of success if you're just going out there and hoping to get lucky? But if you go, all right, today I'm just going to shoot shadows. I'm just going to shoot the color yellow. I'm just going to shoot people's hands. I'm just going to, like when you go out there with a plan, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a sophisticated plan, but when you say, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to shoot contrast, I'm going to look for contrasting colors or whatever it is. We've got classes galore on street photography. When you see one of those things and you go out and whatever it is, does not have to be elaborate, pick a topic, your chances of success go through the roof. Otherwise, like Erik says, you're just going out and you'll see what happens. And usually what happens is you come back disappointed.
Yep. And you know, one of the people that, you know, people say they look to and all, who I think is actually one of the biggest planners, but nobody thinks is a planner, is Jay Mizell. When you look at how Jay, I got to see the behind the scenes of how Jay's mind works. We did classes with him.
Yep.
We spent a whole week in Paris with him. We spent days in New York with him. You're observing him. His mind is constantly planning. He's looking at backgrounds. He's looking at patterns. He sees, like I remember him seeing, and we were like, what does he see and all this? And he saw the contrast or the color differences between the background and people walking by.
Yep.
So he's sitting there for 20 minutes doing this stuff.
Waiting for someone to walk by with the perfect color.
What are you doing? And then when he shows you the shot, it's like,
you're like,
oh
my gosh.
You know who has that too? Is Mimo. Mimo does that too.
Oh, yes, Mimo does.
Where you'll be like, what is he doing? What is he doing? And then he'll show you the shot and you'll be like, oh my gosh, it was right there. And he was planning it the whole time.
Yep.
And he's planning it, and he's planning it, he's perfecting it. And when you plan that and do that intentionally, your photography will get better.
All right, we're going to do one more before we take a break. All right, number 5 is stop carrying too much gear. Mm-hmm. Right? So I just came from this conference up in Chicago, and I'm not kidding. I've never seen more gear that people brought for portrait shoots in my life. You would the elevator door would open and there'd be a woman in there with 3 carts just full of stuff, right? And it just reminds me, you know, it's like I know that like everybody wants to go out and buy a 4-light kit.
Yeah.
Just get one light.
I'm telling you, there's amazing things you can do with one light.
Just get one light.
Amazing.
And you're going to take a big camera bag, and you know what it is? And I know that there's a fear. I don't want to go out on a shoot and not have the one thing I need, right? The chances of you going out and missing the one thing that you need, if you have a camera and a lens, you'll be able to make a shot, right? And you might not have the lens of your, I wish I had my 85 instead of whatever. you can still make a great shot. You don't have to bring the kitchen sink. Now,
Okay.
if you're on a commercial job, you got a client there, bring the house. They're paying you to bring the house. They want to see you have a lot of equipment.
All right.
But otherwise, stop taking so much flipping gear. Stop taking 5 lenses to go on vacation. Stop taking 6 lenses for a landscape shoot. I mean,
Yep.
oh, yeah. All right, what do you
So
got?
I got something. Do they have my screen? They should have my. Okay, yeah. So Russell Brown, this is a great example. This guy, look at like these. This is one light with a phone. Right?
Wow.
This is his phone. One light, right? Phone, one light. Like that's what he's doing. He's doing all this work with a phone. I mean,
Russell's
it is
so
amazing. I mean, he's doing one
Seriously underrated.
light fill, right, with a phone. Like it can be done. This can be done very easy. But I agree with Scott on this. The gear cripples us. It's like, and then what happens is you're wearing it and you're wearing yourself down. And I used to be one of these people, and I've really started to simplify. And people like that, where I'm looking at it and going, yeah, I overthink it too many times. I just need a fill light. I don't need anything crazy.
That's true.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna take a short break. When we come back, we've got numbers 6 through 10. We've got some of your comments coming in. We still got our giveaways. We got a Photoshop tip coming up next too. So stick around. We'll be right back.
How do you create a sense of timelessness and romance and intrigue when you do your travel photos? Wouldn't it be great if you came back with these photos that literally take the viewer away, where they look at the photos and they're like, where's that? I want to go there. You've seen that type of travel image where all of a sudden you're just like, you're taken away. And what it is, I think, one of the big things is a sense of timelessness. It's where you compose the shots, and it's not just when composing, it's what you do in camera and what you do in post-processing that makes all the difference in the world. Well, we just created this course here in beautiful Portugal, where we show you how to create that timelessness. And what we do is we're traveling all over the city to show you again and again and again, here's how to create that timeless look that doesn't look modern, that doesn't pull you out of the romance and the passion of the scene, and it lets you tell a story, a timeless story. It's gonna be that thing that helps you elevate your images to the next level, and we've done an entire course just on that. We're all over, walking everywhere, we're going across the river, we're showing you all kinds of different scenarios, but it's not just what we do in camera. It's what we do in camera and what we do in post-processing. So come watch my brand new class on creating timeless travel images, and it's exclusively at Kelby1.com.
Hi, I'm Rain Hayes. I'm here with the Kelby One crew in Miyaka River State Park, and we're going to talk about my favorite subject, infrared photography. Infrared is a beautiful medium. You have these really special features like extra detailed clouds, glowing white foliage, beautiful dark blue or black skies and water. It's really, really special. This class is going to go through all of the equipment that you need, and we'll get into the nitty-gritty of every filter that you could possibly be using to do infrared. We will look at the best subjects to shoot, the best settings for shooting them, and then we'll go into the studio and I'll walk you through all of the traditional processing steps, as well as a few different things that I like to do, plus a few surprises at the end. Come join me for my very first class with Kelby1.com.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by Canon.
Hey, we're back, Scott and Eric, and we're talking about 10 things that photographers can do in 2023 to help their photography and help get them the images that they want to get and just make their photography life happy. But you know what? There's this other thing. It's called a Photoshop tip. Let's do that. Photoshop tip, yeah. All right, so I have a tip for you, and this is using Photoshop's beta version. So we are going to use a tip on generative fill. Now, I know that you've seen generative fill, and I know that you know what it is. We've all seen the TikTok videos and the YouTube videos and all the crazy stuff. But what I've realized about generative fill is it is a wonderful tool if we don't use it in the crazy way. If you use it for stuff here's what I've been using it for. Here's what I'm using the most, by the way. I'm using a thing that they just released last week called Generative Expand. It works with the crop tool. And you used to have to kind of expand in little pieces and all this stuff, and now you can just expand. And you keep seeing videos of people taking a little small image and then putting this big whole city around it all. I don't find myself doing that stuff. I find myself fixing composition mistakes, mostly composition mistakes, little mistakes that are they're really small, and then you use generative fill, and it does an incredible job of fixing these issues. And I'm going to show you one here in just a second. But first, I want to tell you, if you don't have the beta version, you can go get it. Launch your Creative Cloud app, and in the left side of the screen, you'll see the word Beta Apps. Click on it. You can download Photoshop. It's Photoshop beta version, so it's not fully done yet. They're still working on it and still getting your feedback and stuff. But that's how you get the generative fill, feature and generative expand. You got to download the beta. It's free. You can try it, and it can work right along. It doesn't mess with your other Photoshop at all. It's two separate programs. They don't mess with each other. It's no problem. But let me real quick show you how I use this in a way that I think is really good. Take a look on screen, and it's this image here. It was crooked, and you know how I feel about crooked images, and look what happened when I straightened it. Look at there. Look at the legs on the bottom of the chair. Lost them completely. So you just go to the crop tool, and using generative expand, you're just going to pull it down, right? And if what this is going to do, and then just click generate. You don't have to write anything in. You don't have to know anything. If you know how to use the crop tool and you know how to click a button called generate, that's the entire process. But it's going to analyze and look at what's missing using artificial intelligence. And seriously, look at that. And it gives you three options. Here's the second option and the third option.
I like the first and the third, yeah.
How does it know? Yeah, the second one's not so great.
Yeah.
But if you want to do another round, if you want to just try it again, all you have to do is click this generate button. And it's going to generate three more choices for you.
Yep.
And it takes about 12 seconds. In fact, the name of the thing that I did, my keynote was called 12 Seconds That Change Everything.
I love how when it generates, it gives you all 6 options now.
Yep.
You can even go back to
here's
one
number
like,
5.
Maybe I was thinking about this one.
And there's look at number 6.
Yeah.
Number 5's good. Number 6 is good. I mean, there's a number of choices here that would be spot on, dead on the money right there.
They add the shadows, all the stuff.
Right. But guys,
right
this is the way we're really going to do it. And here's your 6 choices. By the way, if you have a choice you know you don't like, just click up here and hit delete. Right? Because it saves these with the file. If you save it as a PSD, it'll save them. Just hit delete. You don't really need
and if you want to help, hit that poor result, and it'll send it back, and that way they can analyze it.
If it's a poor result or a good
Whoa,
result.
wait, I got bad, or I did good.
Right. But anyway, what this is really about, though, is I think that you've all seen a lot of the crazy stuff.
Yep.
This is the stuff that you'll really use it for. We've seen, I don't see myself adding all this stuff that's not really there. But when I've got
fixing little mistakes,
it's little
errors,
composition. I had another shot where I have this bride and she's leaning back in a chair and she just looks like, I'm tired. The wedding has worn me out. And when I shot it, her hand, it's not cut off, but it's too close to the edge.
You need
every time I look at that photo, every time I go, man, I wish I'd pulled back just a little bit. And then on the other side, her gown is cut off. And if I had taken 2 steps back, it would have fixed both pictures. But there's no way to do that now. Well, actually, there is. I think we're going to wind up using generative fill in our workflows to fix small composition mistakes and things like that 100 times more than we'll do the crazy stuff. So I'm trying to show people real world ways to use this. And that's what my thing was about when I did this. It was a portrait conference I was teaching at, and all of my examples, I did have one. I did one crazy just to show that it could be done.
Oh yeah, you can do crazy
But
things.
the whole 90 minutes was these are real things that we run into as photographers. These are real world situations, and this is it's gonna save a lot of photos. And that was a photo that every time I looked at it, I know that everybody else would look at the model, right? They'd go, it's a portrait. You're looking
like,
at the person.
I want to see the bottom of the
I
floor.
see it, and it drives
wanna
me
see it.
flipping nuts. And I know there's photographers that would see that photo and go, too bad you cut off the legs there. And I'm like, well, they weren't, but it was crooked. And when I straightened it, I had to cut off the legs. Not anymore.
Well, and now what's great is instead of you could fill in the corners. Like it's going to be great because you can cut off. You could do so many things. And my mind's just going crazy on the things we could do with this. But it's to recover those little bit of those mistakes that we make. We all make them.
Yep.
We all make them. We get back and we're like, oh, I wish I would have
done blank. Yep.
And speaking of that,
let's get to
6.
number 6, Mr.
So
K.
this is a great one. Get honest critiques. We really need to be putting our work out there, not with our loved ones, not with our friends, because one, you ask your friend something, there may be the honesty is going to be limited to their expertise, which is just, hey, I know you're a photographer and I know you enjoy this, so good shot. That's about their husband, wife, loved one. They're going to be like, this is great. I love how passionate you are about your photography, but that's not making your photos any better. That's not helping you. No. You need to get with people that are going to give you honest critiques. Now, we have that here on the grid where we do critiques, where we do blind critiques. You can also pay somebody to do a critique who is another photographer, or just get plugged in with a community of people that will actually give you honest critiques. Like, be able to talk to I know with my friends who are photographers, we're photographer friends, not that is, we're showing each other's work to say, hey, help me out here. What do you see that I don't see?
Yep.
Because that's what's going to help your work tremendously is you seeing, like, when we would see that shot that Scott took, me be able to say to Scott, like, hey, man, do you got any shots where the legs aren't cropped off? That would be like, well, but I mean, that's helpful to you. But that's helpful for you. That would be something that would help your work.
Yes.
And just sitting there and just telling, there's some people that I've had in my life that they've gone so far with their photography and at such a level, and you're going, man, nobody's been honest with you for like 10 years. Because, and then it's so hard for us to have to be like the buzzkill of like, I know you're showing me your work because we're friend or a friend of a friend said I do this and all, and I got to tell you, like, there's stuff that's totally missing here. I can help you.
Yep.
But you've been lied to for 10 years.
You don't want to hear it.
And then it becomes even harder because if you don't do this along the way, what Scott just said, you become like, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. I'm an artist. That's the one that this is my photography is my art. Yeah. And it's like, okay, buddy, I'm not going to critique your work anymore. You're closed off.
And I know people that are phenomenal at understanding photography. Yep. Like, they so understand the relationship between ISO and aperture and shutter speed, and they could disassemble their camera. You could blindfold them. They could put it back together, but their photography is not good. It's just not good, and you can't tell them. Yep. They would never believe you. They would think. Now, there is something important about getting a critique. You need to get a critique from someone that you believe has your best interests at heart. That is really, really important. Like, for example, I could go to Erik and say, Erik, what do you think of this shots? And I know that Erik is going to give me a critique on, hey, you could do this better, or maybe you should try that, or that's money. And I know that if Erik says it, he's saying it from a good place of wanting to move me forward. But I've also turned down critiques. I had a very famous photographer offer to give me a critique, but I knew why he wanted to give me the critique. He didn't want to give me critique to help me. He wanted to give me critique to move me down.
Yeah, you do have to watch that. You do have to watch that.
You got to be
There's
careful
Spidey
because
sense
they
up
want to
for that.
raise themselves up by moving you down. And if they start to feel like you're getting in their territory, they will come out of the woodworks to offer critiques so they can make sure that you think you're getting up here. No, I'm pushing you back down. So be careful about who you choose. It's very
Now,
important.
I will say, great place for that. Again, sound like a broken record, but the Kelby One community is a great place. We have a whole section in there just about critiques where somebody can go in and they can even like at Scott, at Erik, like they can ask us questions in there. You know, they're members. They post for other members that give critiques. We'll jump in and give critiques. And as long as you're open to the process of getting a critique, then you'll get something out of it. And I guarantee you will. So if you're a Kelby One member, going in there and just saying in that critique community, if you have a picture that you're like, I don't know if this is good, I don't know if I'm making progress, but the other thing is want the critique. Like you have to want to get feedback because you're gonna get some critiques, and you have to have a thick skin, and you have to go like, hey, maybe this wasn't as good as I thought it was. But people are gonna do it in a way that's respectful and not gonna tear you down. They want to lift you up.
All right, number 7. Pardon me. Number 7 is enter competitions. This is a great thing, and I've been telling people this for years. I didn't do it for many, many years, and I do it regularly now. But I'll tell you what, it is great for you to enter competitions because, number one, you're being judged by someone who doesn't really know you. You're being judged almost always by a panel that are looking at your work. It could be 6 people, 8 people. It could be a big panel. They're looking at your work. If they don't choose you as a winner, they don't send you a nasty note. They do not send you a note that says your stuff sucked and that's why I didn't win. They just say, oh gosh, thank you so much for entering. Sorry you didn't win. They could not be more apologetic that you didn't win. Now, there are certain competitions that part of the competition is you pay an entry fee. Always pay an entry fee. That's the way competitions work. They cost a lot of money to run. They cost a lot of money. They're not the free ones. You enter. And let's say you pay $25. They may say, at the end, do you want one of our judges to give you a full critique of your work? It's an extra $35 or whatever. And you can have the judges, one of the judges or a panel of judges, give you a written critique of your work. So that is also you'll see that in certain competitions. But entering your work into competitions is a great way to elevate your career, especially if you win one. And even if you just, win a category, you don't have to win best of show. They give a lot of prizes out, right? Because they have multiple categories. They may have 9 categories and 9 winners and then finalists, But what do you have to lose? Literally, they're not going to, no one's going to tell you your stuff was bad unless you ask for the critique, and probably not even then. If you're at a stage in your life where you will want to enter a competition then. But go look at, a lot of competitions will show, here's the people that are entering, and it'll just show random images. It won't say, this is Bob, this is Cindy. It'll just show a bunch of images. And you can get an idea. Like, you'll see sometimes winners, and you'll go, I got better shots than that. Well, why didn't you enter? If you got better shots, you blew it. You know what the difference between you and they are? And the award winner is? They had the guts to enter, and you didn't.
Well, and just making sure, though, before that, if you're back there going, I got better shots than that, are you asking for critiques from other people? Because that's another thing, is there's a lot of people who get to that point where I have better shots than that, but they don't realize that they don't have better shots than that their shot isn't better.
Or the opposite.
Yeah.
They don't realize how good their shots are. Like, you should be in competition.
If you're getting critiques from honest critiques, then people are going, this is great. If you're printing your work, or you're doing your work, and people are really like, I love what you're doing, like, you're probably at that stage where you need to be entering competitions because you're losing out because other people are entering and you're not.
I feel bad for this next one with Jackie's comment here.
Yeah. Well, Jackie said, the best advice I ever got on my photography was when Scott slammed my images on Vine critiques.
I'm sorry, Jackie, but I guess it helped. And so sometimes it does help for someone to be really honest and I hate to hurt anybody's feelings. That's why we do the blind. We don't want to call anybody out and make them feel bad.
Well, and Susan's saying number 6 is great. I learned so much from watching critiques, including blind photo critiques and how it added your photo. Like, that's what it's about. Like, even watching other people get critiqued is a good exercise.
Yeah, Jack's asking, where do you go to enter worthwhile competitions? I can tell you the big competition, the very big one, is the Sony Image Awards every year. You do not have to shoot on Sony. I always thought I never entered because I thought you had to shoot Sony. You don't.
Me too.
Because they'll list the winners and it's shot on a Canon, shot on a Nikon, whatever. But it is the most, I think, one of the most prestigious awards. There's also HIPAA in Dubai runs a really big awards contest. Some of the awards are $25,000 for free. One of my buddies won one. But you can. It used to be Pop Photo.
Then there's different genres.
Publish.
Even have,
there's all different genres.
Like in my genre, like Aviation Week has a photo contest that I enter and stuff like that.
So there's all kinds of them out there. You can find them on the web, and there's a lot of websites that will list all of the competitions for the year. And unfortunately, outside of some of the obvious ones, you'll have to kind of figure out, is this legit? Most of them are legit. I've never heard someone say, I got into a photo contest and the whole thing was a sham. Now, they might say, I wish they'd picked mine or whatever, but I haven't had anyone said the whole thing's a ripoff. I mean, they're probably out there, but I think if you see it out there and you can do the research, they're usually okay.
Yeah, like we have a competition going right now for Photoshop World. There's the Guru
Awards, yeah,
and we've had tons of people that have over the years that have come out of winning the Guru Awards and gone on to. We have a lot of Kelby One instructors. Started out 15 years ago winning Guru Awards.
They won a Guru Award, and we fell in love with their work. So many. Also, did you talk about the magazine spotlight pages?
No, we have not.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah. So, we have with the Photoshop User Magazine, we have the Artist Spotlight for the magazine covers. And we're always looking for people who are looking to submit their great work that we'd like to feature in Photoshop User Magazine. If you go over to that page over at members.kelby1.com/get featured, you can enter your work to get featured in Photoshop User Magazine.
Yeah. All righty. We are going to take one last break here. When we come back, we still have our shout outs. We haven't done our shout outs. We haven't done our giveaways. And we've got three more of the topics. So stick around. We'll be back in just a sec. Don't go away.
Now, I know that a number of you out there are already using ON1's plugins, using them with Lightroom and using them with Photoshop, and they're expanding your power. You know how I know you're using them? Because you keep sending me emails and you keep posting comments that say, how are you working into your workflow? Which plugins are you using? Which ones do you use first? Which ones do you use last? Where do they fit in? I'm going to cover all that in a brand new course that I've done for you on Kelby One. The course is called How to Use the ON1 Plugins in Your Photoshop and Lightroom Workflow. It all is designed from the ground up to work together, and it just works really well. There's so much neat stuff that you could be doing, and a lot of this stuff is AI powered, right? I hope to check out my brand new course. If you don't already have the ON1 plugins, if you're one of those people that slipped past the goal and you don't have it, go to on1.com and you can download trial versions and see if you like it. You are gonna like it. You're gonna love it. All right, go catch my new class. We'll catch you next time.
I am a portrait and wedding photographer based in Valencia, Spain.
I do mainly commercial and editorial photography, and I retouch up to 100 photos a month.
We shoot almost every day for all kinds of clients, such as commercial, beauty, and fashion. And we retouch our work more often, like every other day.
I used to spend over 1 hour for one photo.
If we want professional results, we must remove skin blemishes, do micro dodge and burn, highlight eyes, whiten teeth, and even reduce wrinkles in clothes. And this can easily take me up to 2 hours of work for each photo.
So when I saw that there's a plugin for Photoshop that helps you retouch quicker, I was eager to get my hands on it.
I read many feedbacks about it, and I found a lot of positive reviews, which made me to consider buying my first plugin.
One of the challenges we have at the end of a session or wedding is to achieve an edition in our photograph that look natural. This is where retouch for me has become a game changer.
I love the feature that you can pick how much effect it has on your photo and you can adjust it accordingly to your style.
I saved a lot of time and always end up having amazing result with my work.
I am extremely happy with the quality.
Now I am more efficient and have more time to spare with my family.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by Platypod, the world's most compact tripod base.
Hey, we're back. Scott and Erik. We're trivial. It's time to be.
It's time for trivia.
It's time for trivialization.
Trivialization.
That's trivia. Trivia cue.
Trivia time at Kelby one, yeah.
All right, I got a question for us. This one's a little tricky. So we all know the brand Kodak, right? Well,
yes.
Most of us know the brand Kodak, right? I would imagine most of us know the brand Kodak. Where did the name Kodak come from? What is Kodak?
What are they going to win if they come up with it?
If they win, they're going to win that. I think which one is the winner? The Retouch For Me app. So they're going to win the Retouch For Me app.
All right. And where do they just put a comment
Just put a comment in answer it in the chat. Christina knows the answer, and she is going to pick out the first one to win. It's a little tricky because it's not an obvious one.
All right, we got some shout outs real quick we're going to do.
Yeah, so Richard O'Keefe is saying hi from London.
Wait, I know Richard. Richard's coming to my London workshop. He's been to my other workshops.
There you go.
Richard is he's a very clever guy. He's got a great sense of humor. He's a really good photographer, but he's just a fun guy to be around. He's always got a funny comment, and he's a good shooter.
From London, saying hello. There you go.
Very cool guy.
Tony Mitchell saying hi from Duluth. Patty C saying hi. Patrick McCabe saying hi from Fort Walton Beach, and it's hot there too. Yep, I imagine. Bobby saying hi from Scottsdale. Claire saying hi from the UK.
Wait, that's Claire Jones. You know, Claire's also coming to my London workshop.
Wow.
Claire is the greatest rugby photographer you will ever see. I see shots that she has done, and I'm just so jealous. One day, Claire, we're going to shoot a rugby match together. I've never shot her. You know, I watched my first rugby match with Claire in her hometown in a pub.
Oh, awesome!
It's the first time I really watched rugby ever. And
I've watched it, and I think it would be an interesting one to photograph. It'd probably be a very difficult one because the ball kind of gets hidden between. Everything gets mashed up.
I know, but I'm telling you what, the contact and you can really see their faces and everything. I'm telling you, but
you're not hidden behind a lot of pads.
Dude, I haven't seen anybody better. She's really, really good, and she's a lovely person.
There you go. Lori joining from Newfoundland. Thelma joined us from North Vancouver. Andrew saying hi from Scotland. Riaz saying hi from London. So we got the foreign contingent is definitely there.
Hey, Claire's got a comment there. She says, "I keep a record of every sports event I shoot. When I back up, I use my notes from the previous event." Oh, when I go back there, I use my notes from the previous event to plan the next one.
Oh, yeah.
It's very
all
clever.
The time. You always want to take notes. I have notes about every, like for example, I have notes about every rocket launch pad and what the different angles are and what the different, because I just want to know if I ever go back to that pad, okay, well, here was this angle, here was that angle.
Hey, great comment here from Lil Herman.
Yep.
I've been told by many, not friends or family, that I should sell my youth sport images, but I'm so afraid of turning a hobby I love into a job. So Lil Herman, which is a great name, by the way, it can be your side hustle. It doesn't have to be your job, right? It doesn't have to be a job. It can just be something you do for fun. Because Lil Herman, you are standing on the foothold of the dream of photographers everywhere in the world. Hear me out. Here's the dream. To make enough money from your photography just to pay for your gear. That's it. You don't have to make it a job, but if you could make and pay for your next camera body or your next lens from doing some side hustle in photography,
or all those other
on.
things you want to do with your photography. It could be, hey, from that photography, maybe I'm going to go make this elaborate model shoot that I'm going to have, you know, to promote my work farther. So you're maybe just using those jobs to kind of like promote it. And then what's great about it, because it was a side hustle, is it's up to you. Like if you get into a situation where you're like, well, that doesn't sound like something that I'm going to like to do, then you can go, I'm not going to do it.
All right. Kathy says she's coming to Tampa in the fall for a healthcare conference. Any suggestions for restaurants and good places to take some pics? We got them all. Here we go. So, Kathy, first, if you're here on a Wednesday, contact us and you can come by and hang out and just watch the grid like sitting right over there. And when you're here, we're just, and this is just totally luck, right down the street from our office is one of the best Cuban sandwich and Cuban restaurants anywhere. Right down the street, Cuban Breezes. And we are known for our Cuban restaurants. There are tremendous Cuban restaurants all over Tampa Bay. We have a great Cuban community. The food here is phenomenal. But right down the street from our office is one of the best ones in Tampa Bay. So that's one. Number two is you got to go to the Columbia Spanish Restaurant. It's been here since 1904 or something.
1905.
Try their 1905 salad. It's wonderful, and it's in Ybor City, Florida, and that's where you're going to do your street photography when you're here. Ybor City is wonderful in the daytime for street fight photography. At night, it turns into a big party, and you don't want to do that unless you're with a group. But in the day, it's wonderful. It's old buildings. There's lots to shoot. It's very, very fun. It's a great area. Ybor's awesome. And then, for some reason, Kathy, when people come to Tampa Bay, they all want to shoot the Sunshine Skyway Bridge. Now, we drive over and we don't think anything of it, but it's a beautiful bridge. It's very modern, and it has yellow cables. So it's it's just a spire and then these yellow cables coming off it. And it's got it's just a beautiful bridge. It really is. It's just, we see it all the time. And so we're like, eh. But when people come from Europe and stuff, they're like, we have to go to the Sunshine Skyway. Also, the University of Tampa, which is right in downtown Tampa, has a beautiful campus. They have this, it was a hotel, but it has these silver minarets on the roof, and it's become one of the symbols of Tampa, and it's very interesting to shoot. So there's a bunch of
looks
stuff.
out of place for Tampa, the architecture.
And lastly, for restaurants, also, if you want a really, really an amazing steak or tuna or anything, it's such a great restaurant. It's a little pricey, but it's really, really great. Ocean Prime. Ocean Prime is awesome. Just
now, if you want
awesome.
more of a Tampa experience on the upscale, I would say go to Burns Steakhouse. But
don't go to Burns.
I mean, that's if you want more of a Tampa experience.
Burns is overrated.
I don't think so.
You'll have a better steak at Ocean Prime.
I think I like the desserts at the dessert room.
Wait a minute, that's different. The dessert room.
Well, you're just trashing it. I'm just saying.
All right. So you go to Ocean Prime for your dinner, and then you leave Ocean Prime and you drive to Burns and say, I want to go to the dessert room. It's upstairs. It's everybody gets a private room, and you pick up the phone and you order, and they have a piano player that plays piano, and you say, can you play this song? And they just play it. It's a lot of fun. It's a fun dessert experience.
And now the other thing is, if you're coming to Tampa and you're coming from a place that doesn't have Aussie grills, Tampa has a bunch of Aussie grills, and that's where you actually can get the best chicken sandwich in the world currently. The
spicy sriracha chicken sandwich at the Aussie Grill, which is owned by the Outback Steakhouse. It's phenomenal. And they're all over Tampa Bay now.
Sandwich currently
best chicken sandwich on the list. The current reigning champion. Makes me want to get one on the way home.
Yes.
All right. Steve says, when do you think the beta will become production? Soon. If I had to guess, and this is strictly a guess, Steve, October is when Adobe does their next big update at the Adobe Max conference, which I think is in October. That's just a guess. I don't know. Adobe hadn't told me, so I would. But that's if I had to guess.
I think it's coming soon. I mean, it's been out enough that I think enough people are playing around with it where they've got back what they need.
Yep. P. Latoris says, landscape photographers, we're not group oriented. Getting up at 4:30 in the morning light does not make for groups of happy people. I'm telling you what, Eric and I get up together. We go shoot.
Yeah,
my brother and I.
You just got to find the right.
You just got to
people.
find. Now you may not be able to find 15 people that want to get up at 4:30, but you can. All you need is two.
Two.
All you need is two.
So there you go.
All right.
And I tell you what, if you go to the Kelby One community, not to pitch it again,
you will
but I
find people.
guarantee you'll find people
Guaranteed.
in so many cities that'll be right next to you.
All right, number 8 of our 10 things, Mr. K.
8, print your work. This is another
Yes.
one. A lot of people, they don't know the power of printing their work, because what's great is when you print your work, not only does this help you to where it's tangible, but it actually makes it different for other people. I found if the best way to get others, like family members especially, excited with how much your hobbies, how special your hobby is, if you print the work and you show like, look at this beautiful thing that you were able to create, it becomes tangible, and there's more of a worth when it becomes that tangible. It's not just sitting on a phone or sitting on a computer.
And it makes the greatest gift.
And it actually is a great gift. If you're a photographer and you're not using your gift of photography to share that gift with other people through a print, you're missing out.
All true. Number 9.
And this one leads right into it.
Start selling your work. There has never been an easier way for photographers to sell their work than there is today. There are all kinds of places like SmugMug that will basically, they take an 85-15 split. They handle everything. They handle the printing, the mounting, the shipping, the customer service, everything. Artstorefronts.com. Artstorefronts.com. They basically take over your marketing. So they set up a website for you. They do everything. They're not cheap, but you're hiring a professional marketing service to go out and sell your work. I have friends that have been using them. They rave about them, and they are super. They've really got it down. There are so many different ways for you to go online, and so of course you can sell it at Etsy and things like that. But then a lot of it is on you to print it and package it and do the customer service and hope that it gets there and all. It's nice to have somebody else do all that. Squarespace. You can set up a site there, start selling your stuff. Squarespace will take your credit card, but then they just send you an email that says you need to go print and wrap and ship and get customer service to all this. But
I really
so
do
many
like
ways.
the SmugMug or Art Storefront way, where you as the photographer are just making great work, putting it out there. Then you still have to market it. You still have to like get people to buy your work. They're just not going to stumble across it. But if you start selling your work, like if you were that person who was doing sports photography, youth sports photography, well, there you go. A way to upsell this would be to even augment that with something like an art storefront, where you could have these families that have these awesome pictures, then want a framed work. And then what happens is you're just getting so much more money out of that print. When somebody buys a metal, like nice, I mean, I'm cha-ching, cha-ching when that store goes, because a lot of times you're selling like the $40 print.
Right.
But then there's times when somebody, like I had like last week, it was like, you have that person, pop through and it's like a $600 print. And you're like, yep, that's good, because you're taking that split.
Number 10.
All right. Take on a personal project. This is something that I do with my photography every year. So I always have like some kind of personal project that I'm doing. It's usually to perfect like certain, like a couple years ago, one of my personal projects was I really wanted to perfect light painting, with my night photography. So I took every opportunity I had that year to learn everything I could about that.
Man, have you got good
and
at that?
Now you're looking 3 or 4 years later, and it's like, now I kind of like mastered that. But it took like getting focused. So if you take those times to create those personal projects for yourself, to where you can really dive into something deep and be able to like really focus. Right now, I can tell you this year, my focus has been on lately, and my personal project is about using AI with photography. I've really been interested in that concept, so I'm diving into it and getting kind of deep with it.
And there, ladies and gentlemen, you have your 10 things that you can do for the rest of 2023. Put some of those things into play. Put them all into play. There's probably people that saw 10 and go, I'm not doing any of those. There's probably some of you that saw 5, some that saw 3, 2, or 1. But every one of them will move you a little further down the road. So give it some thought and some consideration. Now, you know what else we have? a host of winners of fun
Yes,
stuff.
we do.
By the
Let's
way,
see.
I just want to mention, we give away a lot of stuff every show. Spread the word. Tell people. We give away good stuff.
Yeah.
Every show.
Like, let's see. On One, No Noise is going to Ed Wiener. And then we've got Elaine Herberst is winning the V Flats.
Could be Eileen.
Oh, it could be Eileen. Sorry, that is Eileen. And then Glenn is winning Scott's new Photoshop book.
We gotta tell Glenn something.
Yes, Glenn.
So that book is on press in South Korea. You have your choice. We can get you the ebook sooner,
now,
or we can get you the print book, but you'll have to wait months.
So it's up to you.
It's your choice.
There you go. And the Photoshop for Digital Photographers book, however, which we do have in print, we're going to Cami Marshall, Brazil, and then let's see, Lynn Holly is winning the Platypod Goosenecks. And then the trivia winner, who's winning the Retouch for Me Portraits Volumes app, is Woostein. And the answer was Kodak was a made up name by Joey Driesman. It has
really
no,
just nothing.
He actually, the story goes, he liked K. He thought that was a strong letter. K, right? Is a strong letter. And then, so use that twice. And he just put words together where you could never mispronounce it. That's the legend.
Wow.
That happened.
All right. How do they get their prizes?
So that's easy. All you got to do is email us over at gridprize@kelby1.com. Just claim your prize by this Friday. We verify your information and then send you out the prize.
Well, there you go. Well, thanks everybody for watching this week. We'll be here next week, right?
Yep.
All right. We're back next week. Next Wednesday at 1 p.m. East Coast time. I want to thank our crew, Christina and the crew here, who always do such a great job. Thanks to our sponsors. Couldn't do it without you. Thanks to Mr. K.
Yeah, thanks.
For his K-ness.
Whatever.
Whatever
that is.
For his whatever.
It was obviously, Joe Giesman thought it was a strong letter.
A strong letter, K for Kuna. That's how they, Kuna's a made-up name as well. It doesn't really mean anything. No one goes, oh, can I have 2 Kunas to go? It's a made up.
This is Polish.
It's Polish. In Poland, though, people are like, I'll have 2 Kunas, and they hand you stuff.
Yeah, they do.
Not here.
It's a Croatian currency, too.
It's a Croatian Kuna. It is.
It's a currency.
That's right, the Kuna.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
It's actually a tribe of Indians as well.
Thanks to everybody.
Idaho.
You guys have fun. We'll see you next week on The Grid, if all goes well.